Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. This is Reganelite here. Welcome to Global News, episode 87 of this particular live stream here on the 21st of October 2025 at 6 p.m. UK time, where we cover news from outside the UK. Mainly going to be talking a little bit of America, bit of Europe, bit of Middle East, and one interesting story from Asia we're going to be covering as well. We've got 6 stories there. They're all linked in the description if you guys want to check them out yourself as well. Excuse me. And we also got, of course, a funny video in between. And, of course, the most important part of the live stream, which everyone really comes for, called the funny memes. I also like to call this live stream the quiet one, because it's the one where we get the fewest people turning up to this live stream, because there's so many other great live streams taking place right now as well. So, obviously, if you're from one of those other live streams, that's totally fine. No issue whatsoever. But for those who are here, I hope you guys enjoyed today's show. Stephen Banker, good evening to you, or afternoon. I do say afternoon, evening, because sometimes some people still consider it afternoon to some people. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Christina, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Mr. Skiam as well, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. Peter M as well, good evening to you all. And this one here, there's just one Super Chat goal today, guys. One Super Chat goal. We'll see if we can get that just for today as well. Just one on this live stream as well. So let's get started, guys. We want to start with this story here from the Associated Press. Some of you guys may have heard about this story. Some of you guys may have seen the video footage of this story as well, because I do want to actually share the video footage with you guys as well. Why is my camera like that? That's a bit odd. Right. Here we go. So, here from the Associated Press. So, the White House has started demolishing parts of the East Wing to build Trump's ballroom. Yeah, so I'm going to play the video and then I will share my thoughts for those who aren't aware of this story here.
A historic piece of the White House is disappearing. Demolition of the East Wing has begun, making way for President Trump's new $250 million ballroom. Franklin Roosevelt constructed the primary structure of the East Wing in 1942. And it's long served as the main entry point for guests and tourists. It was designed as a graceful passage toward the White House residence, lined with portraits of first ladies and framed to the south by the Jacqueline Kennedy Garden. Beyond its historic halls, the East Wing also houses the office of the First Lady and the White House Social Office. The White House on Monday started tearing down part of the East Wing to build President Donald Trump's ballroom. The Republican president has said he's adding a 90,000 square foot ballroom because the East Room, the largest room in the White House with an approximately 200-person capacity, is too small. Trump said the ballroom will fit 999 people.
So how do I personally feel about this? So from what I have learned with regards to the demolishing of this, they have not got planning permission for doing this. They've not got permission whatsoever from the capital state or anything like that. They've just gone ahead and done this with basically no authority or anything like that. They've just gone ahead and done this, and this is despite the fact that Donald Trump has actually stated saying that there wasn't going to be any tearing down of the building, wouldn't be any tear down, there wouldn't be any demolishing whatsoever. Which, by the way, he lied. He lied in doing so there. So it's just so. For me, the White House isn't just a building to a lot of Americans. It's a symbol of power. That the White House is a symbol of power. It's supposed to be obviously the symbol of democracy, a symbol of America. That building, it has meaning. It really has meaning to it, and it really does. Like I'm sitting here as a British and an English citizen here, but even for me to see what kind of president Donald Trump has been so far, to see that this man, of all presidents, has tearing down parts of this prestigious building with so much history behind it, it really is earth-shattering. And I can imagine so many Americans out there will be seeing this, and they will be heartbroken by this, to see this happening. And the worst part is that you can't do anything about it. You can't do anything about this person because he's the president of the United States, and they can do whatever the hell they want. And their attitude is so disgusting in all of this. And as far as this Trump ballroom to be here, Now, the White House has lots of fancy rooms, lots of fancy buildings. They even got bowling alley, swimming pool, all these kind of malarkeys, right? And as you saw in the video there, they already have a pretty sized ballroom. But he wants a bigger one. Now, why does he need a bigger one? Like, it just seems extremely greedy to me there. Stephen Banker, thank you so much for being a member for 21 months. That's really, thank you so much for being a long-term member here on this channel. Thank you so much for your support and all the comments that you share here on this channel. I greatly appreciate your long-term support. Thank you. 18-12 again, says Peter. We'll have to wait and see, obviously. Stephen Banker, thank you so much for the £2 super chat. Only the one. Okay, only the one super chat. That's fine. Thank you. Oh, thank you so much for that. Trump has really lost the plot. He has absolutely lost the plot there. And Stephen Banker with another £2 super chat saying, we love Ollie. We do love Ollie, actually. You know what? Thank you so much for that second super chat. You didn't need to give those 2 super chats, but Ollie is here. He's happy. He'll be more happy when Donald Trump is gone from the White House. He'll be more happy when he's gone from the White House. But thank you for those super chats, my friend. I appreciate it. Thank you. So yeah, it's really like from America's point of view, for people who are truly patriotic, truly passionate, good people in America, this is a very sorrow thing to happen to them. So the White House on Monday started tearing down parts of the East Wing, the traditional base of operations for the First Lady, to build President Donald Trump's $250 million ballroom, despite lacking approval for construction from the federal agency that oversees such projects. Dramatic photos of the demolition work show construction equipment tearing into the East Wing, fatigue, and windows and other building parts in tatters on the ground. Excuse me. Some reporters watched from a park near the Treasury Department, which is next to the East Wing. Trump announced the start of the construction in a social media post and referenced the work while hosting the 2025 college baseball champs, Louisiana State University and LSU Shreveport in the East Room. He noted the work was happening right behind us. Quote, we have a lot of construction going on, which you might hear periodically, he said. He added, it just started today. The White House have moved ahead with the massive construction project despite not yet having signed off from the National Capital Planning Permission, which approves construction work and major renovations to government buildings in the Washington area. By the way, I've a lot of people say that it's a nightmare to get any kind of planning permission or approval from the National Capital from them inside Washington. It's almost impossible. But obviously, the White House can do whatever the hell they want, they feel. And by the way, when they have made changes in the past, the White House, you know, regardless of what political party and whatnot, buildings and whatnot, they've always got permission the proper way. Donald Trump has just thrown that all out the window. Just completely thrown it out the window. Its chairman, Will Schaaf, is also the White House staff secretary and one of Trump's top aides, said at the commission's September meeting that agency does not have jurisdiction over demolition or site preparation work for building on federal property. What we deal with is essentially construction of vertical build, Schiff said last month. It was unclear whether the White House has submitted the ballroom plans for the agency reviewing proposals. The White House did not respond to requests for comment, and the Commission's office are closed because of the government shutdown. Yeah, just a reminder, we still are in a government shutdown. Although there are some meetings taking place today, my understanding as well. Pete's Music, good to see you there. Hope you are doing well. He's gone full dictatorship. Pretty much is what it looks like. But what's going to happen when the midterms start coming closer to it? The question is what's going to happen during that time. The Republican president said in July when the project was announced that the ballroom would not interfere with the mansion itself. He'll be near but not touching it. It pays total respect to the existing building, which I'm the biggest fan of, he said, of the White House. And yet he's literally tearing down the building. The East Wing houses several offices, including those of the First Lady. It was built in 1902. And has been renovated over the years, with a second story added in 1942, according to the White House. Caroline Leavitt, the White House press secretary, said that those East Wing offices will be temporarily relocated during construction and that the wing of the building will be monetized and renovated. Nothing will be torn down, Leavitt said when she announced the project in July. They literally... Literally, guys, they are literally lying to everyone's face when they're saying they're not going to do. When they say they're not going to do something, it means that they're going to do it. It's literally what it means. Good evening, Jao, one of our moderators. Hope you are doing well, my friend. Trump insists that presidents have desired such a ballroom for 150 years, and that he's adding the massive 9,000 square foot glass wall space because the East Room, which is the largest in the White House with an approximately 200 person capacity, is too small. He has also said he does not like the idea of hosting kings, queens, presidents, and prime ministers in pavilion on the South Lawn. Trump said in a social media announcement that the project would be completed with zero costs to the American taxpayer. All going to be by private companies, guys. So plenty of places to steal to put bugs in, yeah. The White House ballroom is very privately funded by very generous patriots, great American patriots, and yours truly. The ballroom will be the biggest structural change to the executive mansion since the addition in the 1948 of the Truman balcony overlooking the South Lawn, even dwarfing the residence itself. At a dinner he hosted last week from some of the wealthiest business executives who are donating money towards the $250 million construction cost, Trump said the project had grown in size and will now accommodate 999 people. The capacity was 650 seated people at the July announcement. The White House said it will disclose information on who has contributed money to build the ballroom, but it's not yet to do so. So basically, they're not even going to tell us. If they say they're not going to tell us, you're not going to hear an answer on this. Trump also said last week the event had, unless the Trump administration is gone in the future. Trump also said last week's event that the head of Carrier Global Corp, a leading manufacturer of heating, ventilation, and air conditioning systems, had offered to donate the air conditioning system for the ballroom. Oh, they just offered to donate, to it. Carrier confirmed to the Associated Press on Monday that it had done so. A cost estimate was not immediately available. Hey, we'll put in the air conditioning for you, Mr. President, free of charge. We won't ask anything of return, Kerry is honoured to provide new iconic ballroom at the White House with a world-class, energy-efficient HVAC system, bringing comfort to distinguished guests and dignitaries in this historic setting for years to come, the company said in an email statement. The clearing of trees on the South Grounds and other sites preparation work for the construction started in September. Plans call for the ballroom to be ready before Trump's term ends in January 2029. Wow. So they're going to make sure this is done. This project is done before Trump is before his term ends in January 2029. Dear, oh dear, guys. It's really, really sad. Like I said, yeah, I just think it's just like, I understand that over time, buildings need changing. I mean, our bloody Houses of Parliament needs so refurbishing so badly. That building is so old. It's just well outdated. And I understand that every now and then you need to make changes, but I really wish they hadn't torn down the structure. I really wish they hadn't torn down the structure. And it's just as much insulting when they not only have torn down the structure, but they've said they're not going to tear it down, and they have as well. So it's kind of just like adding insult to injury on the matter, which is really terrible. Biggest sponsor is the American taxpayer paying the tariffs. Well, Trump says the Americans aren't going to be paying for it, but I've got a feeling, again, at some way, shape or form, Americans are going to be paying it out of their taxpayer money at some way, shape or form. He needs a gift shop selling Trump water and sneakers and other Trump's hat. You know what? I wouldn't be surprised if he opens up a Trump shop inside the White House. Wouldn't be surprised at all. Absolutely insane. Trump has all the worst defects of an American president and none of the virtues. Yeah. Like, here's the thing. Like, there's Barack Obama's definitely not been perfect. He has flaws. Even Bush, Ronald Reagan. There's been lots of presidents. Joe Biden. They've all had flaws, but they're not. But at least they stick to certain principles, certain principles. But Trump is just like well off the deep end, and that's the worst part about him. Absolutely off the deep end he is. Unfortunately, speaking of Donald Trump, he's been talking about the Middle East as well. So Trump claims the Middle Eastern countries offered to fight Hamas in Gaza. The US president renewed his threats to Hamas, saying that the Palestinian groups could face fast, furious, and a brutal end. Yes, big threats from Donald Trump here. Just before we do, I just want to show you guys here the latest here from them. So JD Vance is in Israel. So obviously Donald Trump was there a few weeks ago, obviously when the ceasefire was announced. So J.D. Vance is here saying the Israel violation continues in Gaza as US praises progress. Basically, J.D. Vance has basically said that the ceasefire has gone better than expected, is what he said. Which I'm sure made, better than expected. I'm sure that really does please the Palestinians. Oh wait, my brother just died there. Another bomb just dropped on top of us. Yeah, I'm sure they're very pleased to hear that from the Vice President, Steve Witkoff says the Gaza ceasefire is exceeding expectations despite Israeli attacks across the Palestinian territory, with 13 bodies retrieved by hospital over the past day. Pressure on Israel increases for it to reopen the vital Rafah crossing border, allowing desperately needed humanitarian aid at scale to the starving strip as it agreed to 11 days in the truce. Like, they're just not allowing the humanitarian aid in. They're just not. It's just so insulting. Spain says what is terrible becoming normal in famine-hit Gaza. Nearly 1 in 4 child. So key takeaways from the US official news conference in Israel. This was 16 minutes ago here, just for reference as well, before we go to the other bit. US Vice President Vance conceded the revival of the Israeli captive bodies will take time and said he won't pull a deadline on Hamas disarming, but he reiterated the Palestinian group is going to be obliterated if it doesn't cooperate with the deal. But doesn't say anything about Israel not cooperating with the deal either, just for reference. Vance also said there will be no US soldiers on the ground in Gaza. Good. About 200 US troops are expected to be stationed in Israel as part of US plans to oversee the agreement implementation. What? In Israel? Okay. Trump's Middle Eastern envoy Steve Witkoff said the ceasefire is moving forward and its implementation is exceeding expectations so far. Jared Kushner, Trump's son-in-law and advisor, said reconstruction funds will not go to parts of Gaza still under Hamas control. He added that there have been good coordination between the UN and Israel on aid, despite many groups saying that only a trickle has gotten through on Israeli checkpoints. They still haven't opened the Rafah crossing as well. The US official made little mention of Palestinians and their demands, nor did they discuss Israel's many deadly violations of the ceasefire so far. Yeah, because they don't want to talk about it. But yeah, that's some of the highlights and the updates so far there. So President Donald Trump has suggested that several countries in the Middle East have offered to send forces to Gaza to fight Hamas, renewing his threats to the Palestinian group amid the fragile ceasefire in the territory. So Trump wrote on Truth Social on Tuesday that numerous of our now great allies in the Middle East and areas surrounding the Middle East have explicitly and strongly, with great enthusiasm, informed me that they would welcome the opportunity at my request to go into Gaza with heavy forces and strengthen our Hamas. If Hamas continues to act badly in violation of their agreement, Trump wrote in a Truth Social post on Tuesday. And yet he will say nothing about Israel and the fact that they are breaking the ceasefire by consistently targeting them. And by the way, there's an interesting piece that's dropping this week on Rumble. I can't remember what day it's on. Probably today or tomorrow or Thursday, 12 o'clock, because I do cover Middle East on Rumble there. But there's a piece I talked about where they making the comparison between this and what's happening in Lebanon, because Lebanon and Israel are not at peace. Even though a ceasefire is there, it's still like this. It's a very, very fragile ceasefire, because guess what? Israel is still bombarding parts of Lebanon, but you don't hear about that as well. So that is still happening as well. Trump did not specify which countries offered to go into Gaza, but he did single out Indonesia for its assistance in the region. I wonder if Indonesia is going to come out and denounce that, saying that we did not offer to send troops there. Just saying. Quote, he's saying, I would like to thank the great and powerful country of Indonesia and its wonderful leader for all the help that they have shown and given to the Middle East and to the USA, Trump has said. Javiga and other governments have offered to send peacekeeper troops to restore security and stability in Gaza, but no country said to be willing to clash directly with Hamas. Yep, this is what I wanted, peacekeeping troops. I wanted peacekeeping troops inside the enclave, not Israeli troops, not Hamas fighters, but peacekeeper troops, just to keep the stability there, and that would be so much better for Palestinians there. The love and spirit of the Middle East has never been seen like this for 1,000 years. I'm not sure about that, Donny. It is a beautiful thing to behold. I told these countries in Israel not yet. There is still hope that Hamas will do what is right, the US president said. If they do not end to Hamas, it will be fast, furious, and brutal, which is just shouting caps lock there, screaming for no reason. Israel has killed nearly 100 Palestinians since the ceasefire took effect on October the 10th. Last we checked, it was 97. I'm surprised it's not exceeded 100 already. I generally mean that. Trump offers similar threats to Hamas, but it's not clear what the US or any other force can do or strong arm the Palestinian group that Israel has not. Over the past 2 years, Israel has killed most of Hamas's political and military leaders, while also killing more than 68,000 other Palestinians, levelling Gaza to the ground and imposing famine on the territory in a campaign that leading rights groups and United Nations investigators say is a genocide. Trump has been hailing the ceasefire, which his administration has helped broker, as a historic turning point to bring peace to the region. But from the outset of the truce, Israel has been killing Palestinians it claimed were approaching areas under the control of the Israeli military, which are not clearly marked. And moreover, Israel has continued to restrict aid to Gaza despite commitments in the deal to allow surging humanitarian assistance to the territory. And according to the Gaza's government media office, Israel has only allowed the entry of 986 aid trucks into the enclave since the start of the ceasefire, a fraction of what is expected, and 6,600 trucks at a rate of 600 daily. Excuse me. Thing is, there's been a massive load of trucks parked up near Gaza by Israel for the UN RWA to take in, and they refused just to let it rotting. Yeah. And but we know that, yes, that's absolutely true, Mr. Skim. And we also know that in the past that Israeli settlers have attacked these trucks and basically destroyed and vandalized the food and the aid to stop them, because they didn't want Palestinians getting fed. They didn't want them getting aid. They wanted them to die. They were actually those raids. I'm assuming that they're still happening, but I just haven't heard from them. I saw at least 5 videos about it. Says yeah, we've covered videos on here of it as well. Trump can expect the EU countries to help him with his crack plan, but not even outside the EU, UK included. He got any support. Basically, this is the US crap to clean, and there will be consequences. I hope there'll be consequences, but at the moment I don't see it right now. Israel blamed Hamas for killing the troops, but the Palestinian group denied any involvement, underscoring the incident took place in an area under Israeli control. Yeah, this is an excuse for Israel to not open the border crossings. They're looking for any. Israel will look for any excuses not to open the Rafah boarding whatsoever. Some US media outlets reported that Israeli soldiers were killed after they drove over an unexploded ordnance. Besides the day-to-day issues threatening truce, question marks continue to hang over the long-term future of Gaza, including how the territory will be governed. Trump has stressed that Hamas must disarm the Palestinian group that has linked giving up its weapons to the establishment of a Palestine state. On Sunday, Trump told Fox News that there is no hard timeline for Hamas disarmament. And later in the day, we already talked, we're not going to cover all that because we've literally just seen that from the feedback there from JD Vance there. But let's just have if there's anything more really to add here that's happening. Palestinian Foreign Ministry condemns the arrest of 32 activists in the West Bank just now. The activists were taking part in a campaign supporting farmers and documenting attacks on the olive harvest. I talked about this on Rumble. These atrocities represent a continued attempt to conceal the scale of these assaults and the violation of international law as part of comprehensive policy designed to erase all aspects of Palestinian life in the occupied Palestinian territory, the ministry said on X. The activists were arrested last week in a village near Nablus after Israeli authorities said they had violated orders given by security forces. And what orders were they exactly? Answers on a postcard, please. Like I say, I tend to do videos on Middle East there on Rumble, but just on this alone, like, it's extremely fragile and we need the Rafah boarding open. I don't know when it's going to open. I don't even know if it's going to open. Because the thing is, like I said, Israel will look for any and all excuses not to do it. They will make up stories to say that, an Israeli soldier's been blown up or something's been shot or Palestinians walked towards us in a certain territory, we had to open fire and defend ourselves. Any excuses. They will look for any excuses. And they're still bombarding areas. They're still bombarding areas. It's not as severe as it was before the ceasefire. But it's not as severe as it was before the ceasefire. But Palestinians are still dying every day, guys. They're still dying every day. And yet everyone's all saying, it's all hunky-dory. It's not hunky-dory, I can tell you that for sure. From one conflict to another here. Why is this? Hold on a second. I thought I fixed this. There we go. From one conflict to another here. This piece here is from Euronews here. So European leaders have backed Ukraine's ceasefire proposal at the current contact line. So let me read a bit more into this before I give my thoughts, guys. So European leaders have closed rank in support of Ukraine after US President Donald Trump announced a potential summit with his Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin in Budapest. European leaders have backed the proposal by US President Donald Trump on Tuesday to establish a ceasefire in Ukraine along the current line of fighting. Unlike the Europeans, Trump's plans hinges on ending the war at the current contact line, while the European leaders see it as a starting point for further negotiations. Trump pitched a plan last week after speaking with Russian counterpart Vladimir Putin by phone and meeting President Volodymyr Zelensky at the White House. After his meeting with Zelensky last Friday, Trump said it was time to stop the killing and make a deal in a post on his Truth platform, Truth Social. They should stop where they are, let them both claim victory, he added. Quote, "We strongly support President Trump's position that the fighting should stop immediately and that the current line of contact should be the starting point of negotiations," the top 10 European leaders and Zelensky said in a joint statement on Tuesday. Quote, "We remain committed to the principle that international borders must not be changed by force," they added. The leaders accused Russia of dragging its feet by refusing to accept the immediate and unconditional ceasefire in Ukraine, a proposal that Trump himself embraced until he met with Putin in Alaska, when he shifted the call for a fully fledged peace deal. Going straight to an agreement without a ceasefire first is the Kremlin's desired strategy, as it allows the country to continue its relentless bombing campaign on Ukraine, possibly capturing more territory and weakens Kiev's hands at the negotiating table. Over the weekend, Trump appeared to revert to his original ceasefire proposal when he said the warring parties should stop at the lines where they are on the battle lines. "Go home, stop killing people, and be done," Trump said on Air Force One. Trump denies having asked Zelensky to give up the Donbass, the eastern region of Ukraine that Russia, despite partially occupying, wants to claim in its entirety. Zelensky said that Ukraine's constitution prohibits any secession of territory. Russia's stalling tactics have shown time and time again that Ukraine is the only party serious about peace. We can see that Putin continues to choose violence and destruction, European leaders have said. And therefore, we are clear that Ukraine must be in a strongest possible position before, during, and after the ceasefire. We must ramp up the pressure on Russian economy and its defense industry until Putin is ready to make peace. Just for quotation, the statement signed by the European Commission President Ursula von der Leyen, the European Council President Antonio Costa, Emmanuel Macron, the French President, Keir Starmer, the UK Prime Minister, German Chancellor Friedrich Merz, Italian Prime Minister Giorgio Mendy, Polish Prime Minister Donald Tusk, Norwegian Prime Minister Jonas Gahr Støre, hope I said that right, Danish Prime Minister Merk Frederiksen, Finnish Prime Minister Alexander Stubb, and the Ukrainian President, obviously, Volodymyr Zelensky. Statement comes as Europeans grapple with Washington's ever-shifting diplomacy and the prospect of Trump-Putin summit hosted by Hungary, a country that has repeatedly sought to block collective support of Ukraine. As far as I'm aware, no date has been set still. There's a lot of talk about this, but no date has been set. Trump's announcement last week that he was willing to meet Putin in Budapest would mark the first time that the Russian leader, who is under EU sanctions and arrest warrant by the International Criminal Court, sets foot on European soil since the start of the full-scale invasion. And by the way, even though Hungary would be obliged to arrest the Russian president, they would not do that. Overnight, US media outlets reported the anticipated summit might be delayed, nor it happening at all after Americans sense Moscow's position remains uncompromising. Russia's all-out war on Ukraine set to top the agenda of an EU summit on Thursday, which Zelensky is expected to attend in person. The following day, Starmer will host his allies for a meeting of the Coalition of the Willing in London. Brussels is currently working on a new package of EU sanctions against Russia, which remains blocked by Slovakia, and on a groundbreaking initiative to use Russia's frozen assets to issue a €140 billion loan to Ukraine as long-term assistance. So, how do I feel about all this? So, I'm in agreement. If this is what President Zelensky and the European leaders say is the best thing to do, to at least stop this killing, stop the bloodshed, to at least have some kind of ceasefire, some kind of initial stoppage of firing at the lines where they currently are. I'm supportive of that. Obviously, my position is I would like Russia to give back its territory that it took from Russia, because its territory doesn't belong to them in any way, shape, or form. That's how I generally feel about it. I think that it's tough for the European leaders, because Donald Trump keeps getting, they keep thinking they have him somewhere where they want him in terms of sorting out this ceasefire deal. But every time they do, Putin keeps moving the goalpost here. And the problem is that Russia will not move its position. The problem is that Russia are not willing to move positions about where they are. Putin doesn't want to be seen in any way as weak in this war and conflict at all. And he's not prepared to whatsoever to give up any territory, from the looks of it as well. And you just cannot trust Vladimir Putin. And I'm just not sure what Donald Trump is. I'm not sure what Donald Trump is prepared to do. And the thing is, I hope that story is not true, where he basically told Zelensky you should give up the Donbass region, which is absolutely ridiculous. No, it's not just the fact that it's against the Ukrainian constitution. It's not just that. You're telling Ukrainians who live in that territory, it's their homeland, their nation, part of Ukraine. You're telling those people in those areas that they must now become Russian. No, it's not right. It's just not right. It's just not. It does not belong to Russia. None of the territory that Russia has taken belongs to them. Not even Crimea. All that territory belongs to Ukraine. It belongs to the Ukrainian people. You know, I'm consistently been, for me, I want the fighting to stop. I want a ceasefire. I want the bloodshed to stop. I want people to stop dying, both Ukrainians and Russians, and any other nationality soldiers who take part in this, whether it's North Korea or volunteers from European nations or others who choose to step up and take part in these fights. I want the bloodshed to stop more than anything, you know. But it just angers me that I feel that Europe and America are still too soft on Putin. They're not strong enough on him. They should be a lot tougher, and they can be more tougher on them. Russia is weak. We know Russia is weak. They are vulnerable. Now, I'm not saying we should go to war with Russia, but we need to choke them a lot more when it comes to their economy. Their economy is not getting choked hard enough. Trump is absolutely right that European nations should stop taking anything from Russia. And we're talking about oil, gas, whatever trade deals, negotiations that they have with Russia, they all need to be scrapped and thrown in the bin. Wherever you're getting your energy, your oil and gas, there's plenty of nations in the Middle East that you can negotiate with to get your oil and gas from. But there's plenty of places, there's plenty of other places. Hell, you can get it from America. America's willing to supply Europe with oil and gas. Like, just stop supporting and giving anything and everything to Russia. Now, we know there are still pro-Russian supporting nations inside Europe. We still know, obviously, Slovakia, I think, Serbia, and Hungary, and obviously maybe one or two others that I may not have mentioned as well, possibly. Now, maybe not Slovakia, but Serbia definitely. Its leader there, they're very pro-Russian. They're a nation that's always been kind of more pro-Russian, to be fair, than pro-EU, if I think it's fair to say. And Hungary, really, Hungary. It's not so much. I would say it's more because of its leader. Belarus, obviously, being Russia's puppet as well. But you just need to basically cut these off. Like, the EU needs to get a lot tougher with some of its nations and say, hey, you need to cut these off. Like, they need to basically maybe even consider withholding funds from nations that are still getting their oil and gas from Russia. Perhaps threaten to cut funds from them. They need to take some kind of drastic action here, because right now, Europe, in my opinion, is being spineless on that. Donald Trump is right about that. If it's voted against, the EU will go ahead with the transfer of ceased Russian funds to Ukraine. Slovakia won't. They won't be able to capitalise nothing. It's just like Hungary outside the weapon procurement because they voted against it. Yeah, the problem is because of the way the European blog system works. It's not really helpful as well, because it's very democratic, isn't it? Ukraine is older than Moscow and Russia itself, and Russia originally took Ukraine. The same as Israel was thousands of years old and was taken over, said Mr. Skim. Yeah, thank you for sharing that history. I was not aware that Ukraine is older than Russia. I know both nations are very old. I was not aware of that history. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And Hamas is just another one I don't believe. I don't trust Hamas for 1 second, and nobody should trust Hamas. Palestinians are still dying, yeah. Palestinians are still dying. Ukrainians are still dying. It's really, really heartbreaking for me. It's, because it's citizens the Ukrainian citizens suffer the most as well, because I don't ever hear, and feel free to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't hear many stories about Russian citizens being targeted by Ukraine's missiles or attacks when they fire into their occupied territory. I don't hear that. I hear Russian citizens being hit all the time. I've covered it on shorts videos countless times on my short videos, guys. You guys have seen them. So, you know, I think we know how Russia feels about all of this. So, guys, we're about halfway through the live stream. Got a couple more stories to go through here. Before we do, we're going to take a little break here. I want to share a funny video with you guys. Don't worry, we've got the funny memes later on. I know you guys are looking forward to that. But sometimes we all need to kind of confess our sins about things that we have done, guys. You know, you have to confess your problems. You know, how about confessing to your dentist? Have you ever confessed your sins to your dentist? Well, in this video by Fire and Arms, there is a confession here. And praise be to this patient indeed.
Bless me, dentist, for I have sinned. Speak, my child. It has been 4 years since my last appointment. Tell me your sins. The other day I was at the fairground and they were selling the candy floss. Yeah. We've been here before, haven't we? No, I know, but it wasn't for me. It was for my nephew, you know. Oh, yeah. But he only ate half of it, and then You finished. I finished it. Why did I finish it? It just got worse and worse. You know, sometimes I'd be leaving the house in a rush and I wouldn't brush my teeth, so I just used Your finger? My finger. A finger is not a toothbrush. But if you put the toothpaste on the finger... It won't make a difference. It's no substitute for a word. Stop using the retainer. What? My child, your teeth will begin to stray. Oh, I know, but it's so annoying. I want you to tell me the truth. Are you flossing? No. You need to floss religiously. I can already see the signs. Bleeding gums, sensitivity. If you continue on this path, it will only lead to one thing. Gingivitis. Gingivitis, yes. Very painful. Take this and drink from it. What is it? Mouthwash. Yeah, twice a day now, no more, or it'll stain your teeth. Go now and be cleansed. Be cleansed? See the hygienist. Oh, Deirdre. Yeah. I'll see you again in 6 months. Hello? Yeah. 6 months, yeah? Mm-hmm. Will I book you in now? No, I'll just have a look at the... I'll give you... I'll call... Oh, you'll call? Yeah, I'll call to book that in. Okay. Doomed up! I'm using a travel brush. A travel toothbrush? Yes, but it folds in the middle, you know? Which is convenient for storage and...
I just wanted to share that bit at the end with the travel toothbrush because I just thought that was funny. I got a travel toothbrush when I went on the holiday, but yeah, yep. Make sure you go see your dentist, guys. True story, guys. When I was younger, true story about my teeth, guys. I wore braces for over 2 years when I was younger. And it was extremely painful. It was excruciating. And eventually I ended up having the prop ones you put in and out eventually there. And then finally it got to a point where I could finally get rid of not have braces anymore, not have the pop in fold up ones. And now my teeth have been pretty much since then. I've never had any problems with my teeth since then. For decades and decades since then, has been, I'm so grateful to NHS dentistry. I'm so grateful for the orthodontist. I'm so grateful to my parents for that. My brothers, both my brothers. I don't know both my brothers, but one of my brothers gave up on the braces, but I did not. And yeah, over 2 years braces. Pop in, pop out braces, and I went through it. And it was brutal. And now I'm just kind of, I look back on that, you know, because whenever I've been to the dentist, it's always been the same thing. You know, just keep flossing, you know, all the usual stuff for your teeth. Now, I don't ever need like major ops or anything like that because I put my teeth through that. So I'm very grateful for that. I know a lot of people these days don't have that opportunity because of the crisis that we're in. So I consider myself extremely fortunate to have the teeth that I have, guys. There, But yes, the travel toothbrush, guys. The travel toothbrush, indeed. Yeah, clean your teeth. Very, very important. Very, very important indeed. Yep. Just a reminder, guys, if you haven't already, before we continue, please hit that like button because it really does help support the channel. Share this across social media. Make sure you just consider subscribing if you like the content that I do on this channel. Do consider subscribing. Help me get to 2,500. Oh, dear. Help me get to 2,500 subscribers. Do check out links in the description for other content as well. Exclusive content on Rumble, on Patreon as well. And you can also start find my short videos, not just on YouTube. You can find them on TikTok. You can find them on Instagram. You can find them on Blue Sky. You can even find them on Threads as well. Took me a while for me to think there because I have quite a few different social medias for my channel. So if you want to find me, you can find me on those platforms as well. And we also have a free Discord community. Link is in the description as well that you can join as well, guys. So thank you guys for all that stuff. Really greatly appreciated. And what's that? I bought my brother one that used chewable both toothbrush for his 18th birthday. Chewable both toothbrush. Yes, teeth, guys. Teeth. Very fortunate, yeah, to have the teeth that I have. I really do sincerely mean that. Right, enough about our dentistry. Let's talk about something very serious here, guys. So before I cover in this story, I just want to give you the headline here. So this is from CNN. Slovakia's court has sentenced the suspect in an attempted assassination of the Prime Minister Robert Fico to 21 years in prison. So this, earlier on this, I think it was earlier on this year, was it? Yeah, no, it was in May last year. Yeah, I covered this. I talked about this story May last year, actually. So we had last year. We had a Dutch politician who was, I believe, allegedly assaulted. I think it was a female one last year. Then we had this incident a few months later. And we know that politics can get really, really decisive and really, really difficult. And I want to make this clear. Like, I don't know anything about Slovakian politics. I don't know anything about the politics and what's happening within the country and in the nation itself. But I want to make this as honest as I can before I read into this, because this is really, really important, okay? There are lines and there are consequences for actions that we take. Now, it's one thing to say things about certain people, certain politicians. It is another when you decide to take action against them. And regardless of what you think about this person, this Prime Minister, regardless of what you think about Donald Trump, Nigel Farage, Vladimir Putin, or some of the evil and most nastiest dictators out there, and there are plenty of them, there are lines, guys. There are levels. And if you think that by taking someone's life away or doing this kind of thing that you're going to make the world a better place, all you're going to do is galvanize those followers more together than ever before. All you're going to do is waste your life away, or end up taking your own life in doing so as well, in this pathetic attempt to try and shift the balance of politics. Now, do politicians make decisions that cost people lives? Absolutely. They do make different decisions that cost people's lives, and I accept that. You know, many people out there despise Liz Truss, Boris Johnson, Rishi Sunak for decisions that they have made in their times in Parliament. But trying to take these people's lives doesn't fix what's happened in the past, doesn't change anything of it. When obviously today, Nicolas Sarkozy, the former French president, when he went to prison for crimes and charges that had against him, it showed that justice can be done even in the most powerful people, even people who have held powerful positions. Justice can come through, yeah, for those who need it. But these are the kinds of people, these kinds who try to take out our politicians, doesn't help anyone. Really doesn't. And no matter what you think of Nigel Farage and him as a person or as a politics and whatnot, you're not going to fix the nation or save the nation by taking them out. It's not going to make anything better. It's not going to make lives better, because all you're going to do is spawn someone else in its place. The best way to deal with politicians, especially those who look to bring harm to us, is to expose them, to call them out, to show people they are wrong and this is why X, Y, and Z. Explain to people. That's how we defeat them. We don't defeat them by attempting to take their lives. So, a Slovak court ruled on Thursday that a man who shot and wounded the Prime Minister Robert Fico last year was guilty of terrorism charges and gave him a 21-year jail sentence. Juliana Citulia, 72 years old, shot Fico 5 times from just over a 1-meter distance as the Prime Minister greeted people in central Slovakian town of Hanover in May 2024. This guy is 72 years old and he decided to do this. 72 years old. He's decided to, whatever his life has been, he's decided, I'm going to spend the rest of my life, if I take this man out, the people's lives of Slovakia, my life will be better. It's wrong. The verdict of the specialised criminal court in the city of Baskisia, Balricia, closes a trial that began in July, and whose main question was whether Citulia, who admitted to shooting Fico, was guilty of terrorism or less serious crimes of murder or attack. I personally think it was more of a murder than terrorism, because he shot him 5 times. Fico, 61, was struck 4 times and was seriously injured in his abdomen, also suffered injuries to his hip, hands and foot. He made his first public appearance in July last year, a few months after the attack, and returned to work shortly after. Citulia appeared in court in a blue shirt and black hooded sweatshirt, accompanied by guards with automatic weapons. He has said he wanted to hurt but not kill Fico. You shot the Prime Minister 4 times, and you said you did not want to kill him. Because he wanted to stop him from continuing his policies, which he said damaged Slovakian freedom and culture. Again, regardless of how you feel about him, this is not the way to solve anything. Citulia told reporters when leaving the court on Tuesday that he would, for sure, appeal the verdict. It was unjust, he said. The shooting laid bare deep divisions in Slovakian society and animosity between the populist Fico and its opposition. Fico, who has held power for 11 years and over 3 stints since 2006, has blamed the mostly liberal pro-EU opposition and fostered a climate of anger that led to the shooting. That's the man responsible for shooting him. The opposition accuses Fico of eroding democratic standards, media freedom and covering up corruption. Justice Ilocales cited Citulia's own reasoning for the attack when reading his justification for the terrorist account. Again, regardless of politics, there is no justification for any of this, guys. The court considers it proven that the defendant did not attack a citizen, but specifically the Prime Minister Carrick said the sentence was less than the maximum life in prison. I'm going to go out on a limb and say this man deserved life imprisonment. I think he deserved life imprisonment because of what he did. Yeah, because he wanted to make this a political thing to try and justify it. I think he should have faced prison, life imprisonment, in my personal opinion. Thank you, Alison Keir, for the £5 super chat. All hail DPR, just popping in. Hope you are all good to catch up in a wee bit. No worries, Alison. Thanks for popping in. Appreciate it, my friend. Hope you are doing well. Pingu says thank you so much for your support for the super chat today. We had 2 generous super chats from Stephen Banker as well, so thank you for that. I really appreciate it. Yeah, less than the maximum life in prison. The defending counsel for Celia, a pension and former mine worker, stonemason, writer and public activist, he argued that not every attack on an official was terrorism. They sought lesser sentence for an attack on a public official. David Lentilia, a lawyer for Fico, said it was clear that the defendant was no pensioner but a terrorist who wanted to set a precedent that political confrontation should be resolved by violent means. Fico returned to power in 2023 and ended state military assistance to Ukraine, sought better ties with Moscow, overhauled his public broadcaster, introduced some new criminal codes, changes critics say hurt democracy. Citulia said he opposed the Prime Minister's policies on Ukraine, media and culture, and his child described the attack as a scream against fear that is paralysing the society. Fico, who has suffered ongoing health problems related to the shooting, has said he has forgiven Citulia. Again, regardless of how you feel about this man and the things that he has done, and yes, I don't agree with some of the policies that he has done. I don't agree with any of the policies that I don't agree with some of these policies. I remember actually the state media one when he took control of the state media, which many Slovakians protested. There were mass protests. I remember that story actually when they protested about it. They were very angry about it. But regardless of how you feel, like you're not going to change. At the end of the day, he won the vote. He won to become Prime Minister. His party won. And you have to accept the election. Like, I get that some people don't like it. And sometimes we get politicians that make changes that we don't like. And you don't resolve it by shooting them. So, in my opinion, I think the courts were soft on the guy. I think he should have faced life imprisonment. Because this wasn't just, for me, just about an attempted murder. This was about someone who was trying to shift the course of the country's history by taking out somebody. If you wanted to make a difference in Slovakia, if you generally wanted to make a difference for the benefit of people, what you should have done is become a politician yourself. You know, you're not gonna change things by trying to shoot them. Now, he did say there he was an activist and whatnot, so he did get involved to a certain extent, but you've got to be willing to play the game if you want to change the game. And you're not changing any game by trying to take someone's life out. Democracy and politics are supposed to stop violence, which people seem to forget. Yeah. Like, again, I don't agree with a lot of this guy's policies, but it still doesn't give you the right to shoot them. I did have his wiki up in case we wanted to touch on a little bit of it here. Shall I show a little bit of it here? I'll show a little bit of it here. So I'll show a little bit of it here. He's born in, so he's a Slovakian politician who served as Prime Minister of Slovakia since 2023. He previously served as Prime Minister from 2006 to 2010 and from 2012 to 2018. So he's been at the top of the politics for quite a long time in Slovakia. He founded the left-wing political party Direction Social Democracy in 1999 and has led the party since. Fico holds a record as the longest-serving Prime Minister in the country's history, having served for over 11 years. First elected to Parliament in 1992, he was appointed the following year in the Czechoslovakian delegation of the Parliamentary Assembly of the Council of Europe. Following his party's victory in 2006 parliamentary election, he formed the first cabinet. His political positions have been described as populist, left-wing and conservative. After the 2010 parliamentary election, Fico served as an opposition member of parliament, effectively holding the position of leader of the opposition. Following a motion of no confidence against Ivica Rajova's cabinet, Fico was reappointed prime minister after leading Smear to a landslide election victory in the 2012 parliamentary election, winning 83 seats, and forming the government with an absolute majority in parliament, the first such since 1989. In 2013, Fico declared his candidacy for the 2014 presidential election. Fico lost the election to his political rival Andrzej Kiska in the second round of voting on the 29th of March 2014. In March 2018, owing to the political crisis following the murder of Jan Kuskos, Fico delivered his resignation to Kiska, who then charged Deputy Prime Minister Pekka Pellegay with the formation of a new government. And during the 2023 parliamentary election, Fico vowed to end military support for Slovakia's neighbour Ukraine, which is being invaded by Russia. His party Smear won 22.95% of the vote and 42 seats, becoming the largest party. Fico formed a coalition with Voice Social Democracy, that's HLAS, a party founded in 2020 by Pellegrini and other dissidents of Fico SMER, and with the Slovak National Party, and began his fourth term as Prime Minister on October 25th of October. Fico's government has stopped military aid to Ukraine, moved to take greater control of the media, and abolished the Special Prosecutor's Office that dealt with corruption, and has sparked mass protests. On the 15th of May, Fico was hospitalised over attempted assassination, which we talked about already, following attempts to pressure the Ukraine into keeping Russian natural gas flowing into Slovakia, and meeting Russian President Vladimir Putin's mass protests, calling for Fico's resignation arose in January 2025. So that's a bit of history there for Slovakia and what they've been going through. So he's pretty much been a big symbol of Slovakian politics. It's fair to say there. That was definitely worth sharing. I thought that was definitely worth sharing. But yeah, as long as if people want change, you know, the election is where it's going to matter. Obviously, if they rig the election, that'll be very concerning, of course. But that's going to be a problematic indeed. So switching gears, I want to, before we are going to go back to America, but before we do, I've got another story here I wanted to cover. As I said, this is one I've been kind of keen to cover. I haven't really talked too much about the civil war itself, but this is still a very interesting story, to say the least, here from Central News Asia here. So Myanmar's military shuts down a major cybercrime center, detains over 2,000 people. So on the border between Myanmar and on the border of Myanmar, near Thailand here, there are, and I've covered this in a few short videos here, but I'll just give you a bit of a rundown. One of the things that Myanmar has a lot of is they have a lot of scam centers, a lot of scam caller centers here. A lot of them who really do, a lot of people who work in these scam call centers against their will. A lot of them are forced against their will to work in these scam call centers. Some people are kidnapped from Thailand and from other parts of Myanmar to work pretty much tirelessly to scam people out of their money in these scam centers. And this has been a big problem in Myanmar for a while. We also know that there are other countries in Asia that also have these issues, have these scam call centers, but more prominent has been in Myanmar recently. And we're talking about, and this is quite a big story here, because we're talking about 2,000 people in a scam center. 2,000. That's a huge amount of people here. And while I disdain the Myanmar and its military because of obviously what happened in terms of politics, where they overthrew the democratically elected party and plunged the country into chaos, which it still is in civil war. It's still in civil war to a certain extent here. I do applaud them for stopping these scam centers, because they are very problematic indeed. There are scam centers, of course, in Africa as well, where a lot of that is still happening as well. But these people really do pry on people, and they destroy lives as well. So Myanmar's military has shut down a major online scam operation near the border with Thailand, detaining more than 2,000 people and seizing dozens of Starlink satellite internet terminals, state media reported on Monday. Now, I think I covered it in a bit of a short video on this story, but my question was, I was thinking at the time, what's Elon Musk's response to all of this? That Starlink is being used to broadcast for scam centers here. And what would Elon Musk do about this? And the question is, what is Elon Musk going to do about this? Because they're being used there. Scam centers, is it run by the Chinese mafia? It's possible. I don't know that, Alison. I honestly don't know that. But I would not be surprised if there is like a crime organization behind all this as well. Because, yeah, you don't have 2,000 people here without something working here. So Myanmar is notorious for hosting cyber scam operations responsible for bicycling people all over the world. These usually involve gaining victims' confidence online with romancing ploys and bogus investment pitches. Basically, if you've ever heard of a YouTuber or a Twitch streamer called Cambodia, I do recommend checking out his work. Cambodia is an American YouTuber influencer, but he's very famous for taking on the scammers. Basically, he has set up recently over the past few years. Actually, he's been setting up AI bots to basically take up these scammers' times by using AI bots to talk to them and basically take up their time. Because here's the thing: he's done incredible work. He has saved so many people's lives, saved people's money, and he's been responsible actually for a lot of scammers in America facing crime and face justice because of his work as well. YouTube.com/Cambodia, I think it is. If you can find a link for it, do check out his work, and you can see just how nasty some of these scammers can be and some of the lengths they go. But it's more, he really does take the mickey out of some of these scammers, because some of them are absolutely terrible. But there are lots of people out there who are, I have to say this, are really, really dumb and fall for all these kinds of bogus things. And as time goes on, these scammers are going to be using more artificial intelligence and whatnot to trick people as well. It won't be long before we start seeing them using AI video, AI software and whatnot to trick people into thinking that they're a real person online, when in fact they're not as well, and trick them into taking money from them. That's going to be the kind of direction we're going to be going, and that's very, very scary indeed. The centers are infamous for recruiting workers from other countries under false premises, promising them legitimate jobs and then holding them captive and forcing them to carry out criminal activities. Scam operations were in the international spotlight last week when the United States and Britain enacted sanctions against organisers of a major Cambodian cyber scam gang. It is alleged that the ringleader was indicted by a federal court in New York. According to a report on Monday, Myanmar Alam newspaper, the army raided KK Park, a well-documented cybercrime centre, as part of an operation started in early September to suppress online fraud, illegal gambling and cross-border cybercrime. It published photos displaying seized Starlink equipment and soldiers said to be carrying out the raid, though it was unclear when exactly they were taken. KK Park is located on the outskirts of Madawadi, a major trading town on the border with Thailand in Myanmar's Kenyan state. The area is only loosely under the control of Myanmar's military government, and it also falls under the influence of ethnic minority militia. So the government don't really have much control of that area, but they still managed to get forces out there to shut this down as well. Elon doesn't give a monkey's about it. I'm sure he doesn't, but I'm sure he would have been asked the question. I'm sure he might have been asked the question about it. Major General Xing Ming Tung, a spokesperson for the military government, charged in a statement on Monday night that the top leaders of the Karen National Union, an armed ethnic organisation opposing the army's rule, were involved in the scam project at the KK Park. Now, we don't know that, but that's the accusation that the military are making, that the militias who are against the government, the Judah government, are working alongside this. I don't know that, but this is allegations that they have made. The allegations were previously made based on claims that a company backed by the Karen group were allowing the land to be leased. However, the Karen, who are part of the larger armed resistance movement in Myanmar's civil war, I know a name Karen is very weird to have as a militia group, guys, I know, denied any involvement in the scam. Myanmar Allen said the army asserted that more than 260 buildings were unregistered and seized equipment, including 30 sets of Starlink satellite internet terminals. It said 2,198 individuals were detained, though it did not give their nationalities. Starlink is part of Elon Musk's SpaceX company, and the terminals linked to its satellites. It does not have licensed operations in Myanmar, but at least hundreds of terminals have been smuggled into the Southeast Asian nation. The company could not be immediately reached for comment on Monday, but its policy bans conduct that defamatory, fraudulent, obscene, and deceptive. There have been previous crackdowns on cyber scam operations in Myanmar early this year and in 2023. Facing pressure from China, Thailand and Myanmar's governments launched an operation in February in which they released thousands of trafficked people from the scam compounds, working with the ethnic armed groups that rule Myanmar's border area. So it seems like obviously this is perhaps pressure from China, perhaps because its people had been suffering from these potential scams as well. And Thailand's government obviously as well, because it's not in their jurisdiction. So there's been pressure on the military Judah to take action on this from the looks of it. And obviously if China tells Myanmar to do something about this, or specifically telling the military government, hey, you better do something about this, they're going to do it, because you do not want to upset China, especially them on the border there. So, but I'm very happy that they've shut this down. But there's always going to be more out there, guys. So just be aware of scammers out there. They are problematic indeed. Musk wants to build S tunnel. Oh, you mean that tunnel where it's like one way or something? Wasn't that large long tunnel or something that he wanted to build and it didn't work or something for vehicle to make it go super fast from A to B or something? Or am I thinking of something else? I don't know. Maybe it's just me. Scam centers. Yeah, scam centers indeed. Yeah. Right, guys. We got one last story before we go to the most important thing of all the funny memes. Yes, that's the channel. Kibodia's channel. Yeah, there we go. Thank you, Alison Keir. Yeah, he's provided a link for it, guys. It's not only like it's also very entertaining as well. It's also very entertaining as well, guys. So you might get a laugh or two out of his channel as well. But yeah, do check out one or two of his videos, guys. You know, he does some really good stuff there. Saz says, I often listen, but not able to join in chat. Stay safe. In you too, Saz. Thanks for listening. Appreciate it. I understand. Not everybody can chat. So it's totally fine. Yeah, I appreciate people listening in. Really, really do. Right, so here is the last story, guys. And going back to America. So, you remember when... you remember in January 6th, obviously, the riots happened. And we know that all the people got pardoned. And how long was it going to be before somebody was going to do something that was going to get them in trouble? Well, I wouldn't be surprised if quite a lot of the January 6 rioters are now ICE officers. But this... So, January 6 rioter that was pardoned by Trump has been charged with threats against Hakeem Jeffries. Prosecutors said that Christopher Moylan was among the first rioters to enter the Capitol grounds and watch rioters fight with police at the rotator door here. So, he's charged with threats against Hakeem Jeffries here. He's been sentenced to 21 months in prison for his actions during the January 6th riot on the Capitol, but obviously that got overturned. So let me read more into this story for you guys. So, a January 6th defendant who was among the hundreds President Donald Trump pardoned in January was arrested for making a credible death threat against House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries, DNY, the congressman said in a statement. Christopher Moylan, a 34-year-old from Clinton, New York, was charged with a felony count for making a terrorist threat, according to the New York State Police. Police said that on Saturday, the FBI advised them that the Mulholland had made threats to kill a member of Congress. Following a thorough investigation, Mulholland said arrest and arranged before the town of Clinton court, the police said. He's obviously made social media comments or posts in places where he has said this, which is what's triggered this to do this. I mean, it is one thing to say comments about, like, I hate, like, Hakeem Jeffries is a terrible Democratic politician, by the way, just for reference from everything that I've heard about him. But still, like, again, this touches on basically what we were just talking about with the Slovakian Slovakian Prime Minister here. This is someone here who was part of the January 6th riots. And this wouldn't have happened if Trump hadn't pardoned him. If Trump hadn't pardoned him, this probably wouldn't be happening. He'd probably still be in prison. He'd still be in prison. Mulholland is currently being held at Dutchess County Justice and Transition Center in Paul's Keithby, New York, police said. A judge set his cash bail at $10,000, his bond at $30,000, or partially secured bond of $80,000. He has another court appearance on Thursday. CBS was first to report on the arrest. Spokesperson for the New York State Police referred to NBC News to the town of Clinton Court, where a clerk did not immediately respond to a request for the criminal complaint. Justice Department also did not immediately respond to a request for comment. Mulholland was sentenced to 21 months in prison in February 2023 for his actions at the Capitol riot. Prosecutors said that Mulholland was among the first rioters to enter the Capitol grounds and watch rioters fight with police at the rotunda door, and with the quotation, "And when effing in, he yelled, F yeah. Every single one of you is a patriot. Remember that. Restore this republic. Down with communism, down with communism, down with Biden. We will restore our republic." Prosecutors said Mulholland was among the rioters who entered the Senate gallery, rifled through a battle knock, rifling through a notebook on the desk of Senator Ted Cruz, the Republican from Texas. "There's got to be something here we can effing use against these scumbags," he said, prosecutors has said. When another writer said, "I think Cruz would want us to do this," Mulholland responded, "Yeah, absolutely, video shows." He previously faced 2 petty lingering cases and 4 drug possession cases, saw himself as part of an existential battle against those who disagree with him, federal prosecutors wrote in his sentencing memo. His words and his conduct demonstrate that he believes that his crimes were justified because they were performed in the name of his political goals, they wrote. After the Supreme Court ruling impacted one of the charges against him, a judge ordered Mulholland to be released after he had served a 12-month sentence on other counts. His appeal of his conviction and sentencing were pending at the time of Trump's pardon, according to the court filings. He felt a unique allegiance to President Trump, about defense team wrote, and was a receptive audience to Trump's lies about the 2020 presidential election. And yeah, he was one of those that were pardoned. So basically, this story would not have happened here. Hakeem Jeffries' life would not have been threatened here if he hadn't pardoned Donald Trump. It's very, very frustrating indeed. Where is it? I'm just looking for something here. Do we have the video? There's a video I'm looking for, guys. Where is it? So, there was a story that Vosh found, which was really delightful, and I don't know if I can find it or not, but an ICE officer got arrested by police, and I'm trying to find that story, guys. How cool would that be if I found that video? ICE officer arrested. Here it is. Hey. So, yeah, I wanted to. I was thinking about this while I was covering this story, guys, and I think this is definitely worth sharing with you guys. So, shall we watch an ICE officer get arrested? An actual ICE officer. This is the video clip that Vosh shared. So, because yeah, it's about time we see these guys get the justice they deserve. So this is an ICE officer, and he's unmasked, and he got pulled over. He's got kids in the back. By the way, they get blurred out in the video. But want to watch an unmasked ICE officer get arrested, taken away from his kids for a charge. Yeah. So I don't think the language will be too offensive. If it might be beeped out or not, but let's have a listen and see how this goes, guys.
The guy in the white shirt.
That's the colonel.
Colonel, don't mean shit to me.
Okay, well.
Look, I'm federal.
Okay.
I'm trying to get home. I got my boys with me.
Who do you work for?
DHS.
Do you have your ID with you?
No, I don't.
Okay. But if I called them, they'd verify that you're a
100%,
department.
bro.
Okay. You don't have any type of credentials or anything that say you're DHS?
Not on me, no.
Okay. All right.
I only bring my weapon with me if I'm.
Okay. But you don't have any weapons on you right now?
No, I don't.
Okay. So what I want to do, I want to talk to you away from the kids. So I'm going to ask you to step out of the car, and we're going to walk back to the back of your car, okay?
Are you fucking serious right now?
Yes, sir, I am.
You're talking to a police officer like that? That's not very good. You should not talk to police officers like that. Especially when police officers have been taking a lot of crap lately from ICE officers. This is not a very good thing to do.
You know what? Call my supervisor.
Okay. Do you want to do the exercises or no?
I'll do it. But you know what? What's homeboy doing down there? You know, guys, come on.
Make sure we all sit before we start the water. You don't want to get hit. You don't want you to get hit. That's why I'm trying to do the exercise. That way we can move on.
Are you Haitian?
That's nothing to do with my wrist, buddy.
My question was, are you Haitian?
What does that got to do with anything? See, right now, yeah, he's like, oh, you shouldn't be in, like, he's asking if he's Haitian. You're not on duty, bud. Yeah, you're an unmasked ICE officer, and right now you're in deep shit. And all you want to do is piss off police officers. You can tell the kind of people that work for ICE, don't you guys, from this?
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter where he's from. Okay. Look, man, I really need you to do the exercise. If you don't do it, then I'm going to say that you're refusing to do the exercise. I get it. You need a minute. I gave you a few minutes, okay? But
Let me talk to your supervisor.
not right now, sir.
Yeah?
If you're a cop, whatever.
Yeah, I'm fucking law enforcement,
Okay, then stop talking and sit in the back of the car and stop. Stop this.
Let's go.
Stop this.
What about my kids?
We're gonna take care of it.
No,
But
I'm
first
not
I need-
going in there. Let me talk to your supervisor.
Again, you can talk to him in a second.
Nope. Not going in there without my supervisor.
Okay, let's go to the other side. Come here. Come on, man. Don't pull against me. Let's go over
I'm
here.
not moving. Bro, don't fucking do this.
Let's go.
Lane.
Okay, I'm gonna...
Hey, come on, buddy. We're not doing this. Come on. Let's go.
So you guys are fucking shut.
Dude, man, they're police officers.
Come on,
you have
put
to
your
do what
feet
they
in.
say.
Stand up.
Stand up. Come on.
Stand up. Put your feet in, man.
No.
Man,
Put
don't
your
be a
feet in.
kid. Come on.
Stop.
Where are my kids?
Stand up. Put your feet in.
Absolutely ridiculous. I'm gonna put that link in the I'm gonna put that link in the description as well. Alison Keys provided a direct link to it as well. But I wanted to add that to you because I thought it was worth sharing. ICE officer arrested. I'll send that to Daily Blase. I don't know if he want to add that to Friday Frolics or not, but it might be a nice one for him as well. But yeah, what goes around comes around to these ICE officers, and I hope we hear more arrests of ICE officers like this. I hope police do find out more stuff about them, and they pay the price, you know, face jail time and whatnot, and stick it to them because they're vile people. They really, really are vile people. And dum da da dum, and everyone bites the dust. Do. I see what you were mean there. Resisting arrest and night in jail, lost a job. What? Oh yeah, he is. Absolutely, he is. Why are my funny memes not coming up? Just checking that the funny memes are okay. Right, yep, they look like they all are. Right, guys, so just before we head out, we have the most important part of the show. The funny memes, because that's one of the things here. Ice melted. Very good, Peter. Very good, very good, very good, very good, very good. Okay, guys, we've got our 5 funny memes. Let's see if we can get a bit of a laugh out of you guys. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. Well, let's just go with them and see how they go. Here is the first one. The first day at the vets. What seems to be the problem? Meow. Yes, but where? You know, I'm just making my point. Yeah, but where's your problem? Me watching a romantic movie, but no longer believing in love. Pusher. Yeah, that cat really has... it's not very happy cat, is it? Sleeping with your feet outside these blankets increases the likelihood of a monster by 75%. I didn't know that, but I guess there's a first time for everything, guys. So yeah, you've been warned. Make sure your feet are inside your blankets tonight. You've been told. Proof! The moon doesn't exist. People made it up in their kitchens. But I can still see it in the night sky. Still not sure about that. And finally, I keep this picture of myself in my wallet so I can see that when I'm about to waste money on things that I don't need. Lol. That's actually Terry Crews himself. What do you think you're doing with your money? Why are you buying something you don't need to buy? You will close this wallet right back up right now. You put that money away, boy. You put that money away. You get an angry death stare or something whenever you open your wallet. It's just like, what are you doing? You close it back up again. Don't even think about it. Oh, that was good. I needed that. David, good to see you there. Unfortunately, you've come to the end of the live stream, my friend. But I hope you are doing well. So, guys, we are finished here. Geoscope should be starting at 7:30, I think, with Graham Hughes and Bolo Hatman, or supposedly. I don't know if he is or not. So, if you guys want to check it out at 7:30 over on their channel, feel free to do so. Max Robertsby will be going live at 8:30. If you guys want to join him for his live stream, feel free to do so as well. I'll be looking in the chat there at some point, I'm sure. And I will be back live tomorrow at 11 o'clock in the morning. So for another Good Morning Show, join me for that. And tomorrow evening will be the watch along. We'll be watching and reacting to certain clips online, just like one that we just saw just now, but on a grander scale, guys. So do join me tomorrow night again if you can. For that as well. But thank you guys all for coming along. Thank you guys for those who gave super chats. Thank you, Stephen Banker, for the £2 super chats. I really appreciate that your support, and Alison there for the £5 super chat as well. Really helps support me and support this channel and support the work I do. Also supports Pingu and the Democratic Penguins Republic. So thank you guys for them. Is really appreciated. Obviously, for those who can't financially support, the best way you can support me in a non-financial manner is just hitting that like button, sharing across social media, subscribing to the channel, leaving comments down below on videos, checking out other content that's on this platform as well. All that stuff helps boost the algorithm. So if you can do those kind of stuff, guys, it'd be greatly appreciated. So if you could do those things on your way out, it'd be greatly appreciated. And do check out Rumble and Patreon. Links are in the description as well. So thank you all so much for watching, and I hope to catch you all very, very soon.